The Alpin. The Alabin. The Albin. I thought Alabin was like a chess site. Sorry. I was like, yeah, Alabin. It's like Alibaba. Alibaba's new chess site. Alabin. The Albin. Yeah. Oh my god. No, the Albin is like, it's my arch enemy. I've struggled with white against the Albin against really strong experts in it. There was this one Russian guy, or I don't know if he's Russian or Ukrainian, Ripintsev. He lived in the United States in the mid 90s, and I don't know where he's from. I guess he's Russian. But we'll play some Blitz to close out the session today. Um, Ripintsev had this weird repertoire. He would play, he was an IM, he was very strong in Blitz, practical and good in technique, but his openings were crazy. He played the Albin, he played in tournament games, he played knight c6, like in the Scandinavian with queen takes d5, knight c3, queen a5, knight f3, he would play knight c6. Interesting, bizarre off-the-wall openings for a title player to play in serious games. So today I'm working on some YouTube stuff and my setup here. So we will see you tomorrow, everybody. I'm going to do a couple Blitz games, maybe 3, maybe even 3. I don't know how much time we have to get in, but thanks everybody for showing up in advance. Chess 960, not happening today. But our rating is creeping up in standard, or not standard, but 15-minute chess. I'd like to get on the best list for 15 minutes. It's going to take a little work. Had a setback yesterday in 15 minutes, but I'm getting better. It's obvious that I'm adjusting to the time limit because you guys that were here the last week and the first week, it's like my 2 weeks I've been doing this, and it was, you know, a lot of games on time that were really struggling for me. I was really struggling. I don't know why I can't get a game. So a 15-minute game would be possible. It's kind of getting a little bit late, but I get sort of tired when we get to about 3 hours, so I'm trying to keep the streams under 3 hours. That's kind of the limit, I think, for one session. Alright, we got a 5-minute game. Wow, they had to dig out a 1700 for me. That's how few players are in the 5-minute rating pool there. And let's see what's up. Wow, Semi-Slav, huh? Yeah, I don't, you know, I need to study in the Semi-Slav. We'll go to our old standby, but I am not up to date here. I've been playing anti-Slav. This guy backdoored the move order on me, and he got me to play a mainline semi-Slav, then chickened out with bishop e7. So it's but it's still a orthodox queen's gambit with knight on b to d7, or even h6. The h6, not so much. No, h6 not really. I don't really trust h6. Knight b d7 is fine. Rook c1. The Albin leads to very strange endgames. I'm sure of that. I always try to win a pawn, but it never seems to really be that easy. So, no, I know like Kasimzhanov and other people were playing the Albin for a little while there. I'm sure it's getting analyzed to death, though. It's maybe already been analyzed out. I think this is an old Alekhine move, queen c2. Hopefully, it'll cause him to do something, some sort of mistake, make some sort of mistake. h6, and that's interesting. If I play bishop f4 now, he has knight h5, which is really okay for black, I guess. So that's unfortunate. Queen c2, rook c1. By the way, I've experimented in this position in hundreds of games, and my experience, white doesn't have a whole lot, and rook on c1, b6 is his best move, probably, by the way. Do I have anything on the c file? cd, cd, knight b5. You know, these are kind of optical illusions. Oftentimes, there's nothing really there. So he takes back with the c pawn, and I'm going to end up having to make a decision here. Maybe I can exchange next move on d5, but he can exchange on c4. I don't think it's really great now to take on c4 since he played b6, but it's okay, he can play it. I'm going to have to lose the tempo with queen e2 to replace my queen to a sensible square. c2 doesn't really make sense in the structure anymore. So that's why b6 really works pretty well, I think, in general, against rook c1 or rook d1. It's even better against rook d1 when the rook ends up being very misplaced. And cd, cd. cd, ed, I'm happy and I have a good game. But after cd, cd, white doesn't have anything. That's the problem. Let's see. Queen e2, bc, bishop takes c4. I'm going to play queen e2, lose a tempo, and black's okay. And I don't know, you know, I guess Gunfan really knows what he's doing, because not many people do. Most people make some passive move like rook e8 and they get a bad game, but Gunfan, this randomly 1700 move. What's that? Bishop b5. Now he's mixing up lines, which is probably playable. I don't see why not just play c5 there, man. b5 seems like unnecessary risk. Okay, so bishop d3. Spinal Tap Chess. Hey man, what's up? How you doing? Well, this particular position, I think, demonstrates why, you know, this whole thing with the tempo waiting doesn't really do a whole lot for white. You know, if he can get in c5, I think that c5 for black last move pretty much equalizes on the spot. And even here, he probably has some weird line like a6. Actually, a6 here, a4, and maybe b4. Yeah, a6, a4, b4, bishop takes f6. Knight takes f6, knight takes f6, knight e4. Maybe I'm okay here. I don't know, a4. But as I mentioned earlier, really, there's no reason to do this b5. He has c5 there. I think he could have just played c5. If you can play c5, then play it. There's no reason to make your life complicated. He could take on a4 too, here. Maybe that's the idea. BA. I know there was some weird Fischer-Spassky game from like their rematch or something, where something similar thing to that happened. Now knight d5 doesn't really look right. We don't really have a lot of time to keep the bishop, you know, keep the pieces on the board if I can talk. Bishop takes, and this is tricky though. I'm going to lose my a pawn in some lines. I think I should just take the good bishop, and maybe take on d5. However, if I take on d5, I fix his pawns, and I take away the weakness on c6. I'm not that thrilled about that. Knight e4 was my original idea. Maybe that should be the plan. It's sacking a pawn, but I don't mind, you know. I don't mind. If he does some crazy stuff like queen b4 check, that's fine with me. He can put his queen on a4 if he wants. But anyway, it's blitz. We have a minute left. I'm controlling the c5 square. It's kind of a gamble. I don't know if this is really 100% sound, but I'm just trying to be practical. Alright, man. Visiting US anytime soon? Well, I'm thinking about it in the summer. I was disappointed that they were like not going to have the next Millennium or Millionaire Chess Festival in Vegas, because I was just about ready to like go and play in that, and then I got an email that they're gonna have it in Atlantic City, which is okay too, but you know, Atlantic City's Atlantic City is Atlantic City. You know, it's not the same as Vegas. But anyway, this dude here grabbed the pawn, man. I think I have compensation, but I don't know that I have more. More than compensation is not really. I don't really want to trade queens. That's the thing. He's gonna lose on time. He played well. I guess I'll let him trade queens. I have comp, but black is, you know, a pawn up, so this isn't really 100% right for me. I don't think this was really 100% right. We're just going to take him out on the clock, I guess. Rook A1 is interesting. Sort of holds up A5. He should try to get F6 E5, maybe try to break the E5 break. Now knight B3. Yeah, I guess you're gonna play. Yeah, I guess you should, because why not? But and actually, I have sort of nostalgia for New Jersey, so I should think about playing anyway. B4. Yeah, this is looking good now. I mean, I don't think this being down a pawn here is real relevant. I'm not sure if it's a win. I guess it's a win. Yeah, it looks kind of winning now. He's gonna have no bishop. So, and rook c7. It's sort of Zuzwan. Knight c6 threat. Yep. Okay. We got one more game, I think, in the stream left. Spinal Chap. Yeah. I end up playing poker instead. Yeah, I know. That's my problem when I go to like Foxwoods or something like that to play chess tournaments. It ends up being a huge distraction. So I'm gonna come home in the summer for a month or two, but I don't know if I'm gonna play any chess while I'm there. Okay, this guy, don't know this guy. Scat, totally new to me, and this is a rare variation. I've seen Igor Raussis play this with white, and there was another guy who played it, and I can't remember who it was on the internet. And I am. Maybe this is this guy's reincarnation, but it's totally I just totally forgot who that was. So there was a French team tournament where I was playing, where I saw Raussis play this line against a French player, a strong player. I don't think he played knight f3. Maybe he did. I think there's a line, excuse me, like queen e4 check and queen takes c2, where it's like a pawn stack. That seems like pretty logical for white there. Maybe I should do a little more research on this line. There was a vague analysis by me with the computer engine one time in this variation, but it was so long ago it's just completely exited from my brain. I think the one thing you don't want to end up with is a bad bishop in this line. Queen e4 check. I don't really know. Bishop g4, knight c3, bishop takes f3. Bishop g4 and then queen e6 check. I mean, is that a line? Bishop e4, queen e6 check. I guess you could consider that. At least my bishop's outside the pawn chain now. I'm not really sure about this. Knight c3, queen e6 check, queen e2, or he could even play king f1. I guess I'm trading queens and having a bad structure. That's good. This was a great plan. But I think the still black should be okay somehow. The problem really is that I don't know the theory. Queen e6 check. Bishop takes f3. That would be weird, huh? Queen e2, bishop takes f3.